Hi all, it's Ali here, and I'm totally glued to the trial, I'm sorry to say, of Jonny Depp and Amber Heard. You must be sick to death of hearing about it. However, you're going to hear my view of just a couple of things, and you have to remember that I'm 59 years old and for some reason didn't realise that Jonny Depp was so as famous as he was, or had been in as many movies as he has. I don't think I've seen any of his movies. I don't think the type of movies perhaps that I would watch. And also, I didn't even know he was married to somebody called Amber. No idea. Or that she was blonde. Or that he had 2 children. I didn't know whether he had 1 child, 2 children, 3 children, or a whole herd of them, so excuse the pun. I had no idea. So I'm coming into this fresh. A week ago, as I say, I barely knew anything about him except the fact that he was a fine looking gentleman. And let's face it, he's hot stuff in me to look at. I personally, having seen him kick furniture about, would be a gibbering wreck after one day with him. But having said that, I suppose it's better than kicking anything else around. Kicking furniture, I am quite used to because I have a son that will kick and smash up things due to ADHD. And this is where I come from I'm looking at it slightly differently. Although I find the case itself very interesting, both of them, honestly, they both have done shocking things. I would like to see him win. Of course, I'd like to see him win because she hasn't even opened her mouth yet, but she looks just so stuck up her own arse. You know, if she wasn't any more stuck up, you know, I think she must have a pole up her back or something. She's so like this time, and her makeup's so well done, and you know she doesn't even break into a sweat in the courtroom. I did observe her style of dress. One day I thought she must be maybe asking herself questions on the stand or being her own defence, because she was actually, although she dresses in black, one day she looked like she was actually dressed like the judge. She had this black, well, it looked to me like a smock thing on, or not smock, but it was just, I just thought the way she was sitting down and had her hair, I was half expecting her to stick one of those white curly things on that we have in Britain and do some questioning. Honestly, that's what I thought, but I've digressed. I don't like the look of her. I've heard a lot. I've been swayed by what I've heard. I would like to think that I would, in my brain, give her a fair trial. But in reality, he's just so fine looking that whether he kicks furniture, as long as he hasn't kicked her, and to be honest, there's not much in them, is there really, when it comes to temper tantrums. One throws, you know, does a 3-year-old toddler tantrum, Lady Muck does, throwing her, screaming and whining and whinging like a toddler wanting sweets. And then you've got Jonny, who just doesn't want to hear a damn thing because he can't stand her going on and on and on, and does what any responsible parent would do when a child is having a temper tantrum: lock themselves in another room, because otherwise you're just going to bloody kill them. So this is, when I saw him on the stand, this is another interesting thing. I know what drugs do to people when they start taking them from a very young age. And from what I say, I know, I've seen it. It seems to stop the brain from maturing. It's almost like, even if you have a really bad childhood and you go back to being that 15-year-old little boy that Jonny was describing, the reality is, I would think he's probably going back to more like 12 when he started drugs, because he did it to numb pain. I'm not sure that all that pain came from his parents. There's something about his demeanour and his inability to answer a yes, no. He goes off on a tangent that makes me wonder whether he's an ADHD or even some sort of autistic spectrum, whether he's got something there, and whether or not, yes, he wanted to numb the pain and he started with drugs, but whether or not he was also stopping those racing thoughts and those thoughts that go off everywhere, where you are, like I understand ADHD, I've got ADHD, you start on one thing, like I'm doing in this video, and you end up digressing in all sorts of areas, and then you've forgotten what you actually were asked in the first place. And Jonny reminds me of that. Jonny's speech is incredibly slow, whether or not he's choosing his words carefully, or whether or not he is so shy, finds it really difficult. I notice he does have a stutter. But again, I wonder how much of the drugs have affected Jonny's brain and that's caused it, or whether he always did because of his nervous disposition. Clearly, when he goes into character, that's totally different. And again, I've had experience of people with Asperger's or on the autistic spectrum who actually come across as very almost monotone, low speaking voice, don't really sort of, I don't know, just don't give clear answers, and suddenly on stage they become another human being. Because they are another human being. For some reason, they're able to get into character and they bloom. And for many of them, they are in acting careers. And for many people with these disorders, they are very artistic in nature. Whether it's films, writing, art, media, that type of thing. I mean, I don't want to put everyone into some sort of box. I'm just asking the question, could it be that also Jonny has difficulties with relationships, not just due to drugs or the amount he's drunk? Could it be that he struggles to negotiate life generally, not only from his past upbringing, but also from his own personality? I'm not quite sure. I mean, obviously, you know, you'd need somebody to a proper diagnosis or something, but it does make me wonder whether or not that would be of benefit. He's in his 50s apparently. It makes me wonder though whether he's ever been down that road of looking into other things, or whether he's just been so overwhelmed by his upbringing that was obviously so traumatic. He's in a state of PTSD. So the moment someone shouts at him, it doesn't have to be for very long. He'll just go and take himself away, which, you know, we all have so much more availability to this sort of information. And I didn't know anything about Jonny Depp until, how long's the trial been on? 9 days ago. I mean, shit, I almost know the length of his willy. They've given so much information out. And it just, the way I see this guy is not because I've seen him in films or because I think he's so good looking that, you know, I want to go to bed with him. No, that was actually a lie. That was a lie. I'm kidding. No, I mean, the guy is very easy on the eye, but I didn't know anything about him, really. I mean, unbelievably, not everybody is that interested in actresses and actors, and that's another thing. They called Amber Heard an actor. Well, her defence did. I think it was her defence. Whatever. Anyway, I heard that being said several times. Is she not an actress? Or is everybody an actor now? Do we not have actors and actresses? Anyway, these are my thoughts on the trial, and I've got no idea who's going to win. I know who everybody wants to win, or the majority, and I feel extremely sorry for their family, as their children are now grown up, obviously, but I do feel sorry for them, because I think that in the future, Jonny should limit his texting to people, and if he does text, just to remember that if you say these things, you've got to think about how it might be thought of when you know, it's a bit like putting on Twitter something when you're really angry. There would be a lesson for him in that, if nothing else. And but these are my thoughts on it. I don't know about you guys. I hope you found this a bit different, of a different angle, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Love you lots. Please share, please subscribe, and if you like this video, let everybody know. Hell, everybody's doing videos on it, and I just have to. I'm totally and utterly glued to the scenario. I even take the dog out for a pee when they go on, you know, for a session on whatever it is, you know, when they break for dinner, or when they break for, you know, going for a cup of tea. I say, right, I'll come out now and play with you. Poor dog. Take care. Bye.